What's up, guys? It's Keefe. So many men are doing the wrong things in their 20s. The perspective a lot of guys bring to their 20s is, hey, I'm young, I want to have fun now, I don't want to take responsibility for my life, and I'll figure everything out later. But there is a huge problem with this way of thinking. It's definitely great and important to be having fun in your 20s, but you should also do the right actions so that you don't set yourself up for a life of unhappiness, but rather you set yourself up for the kind of life that every other man wishes he was living. And in this video, I'm going to give you 5 things you should be doing in your 20s to make sure you can do that. I think number 5 on this list is the most dangerous. So many men fall into it. And I also think number 4 is the one that's really not for the faint of heart, and a lot of guys shy away from doing it. Now, before we get into all that, I made this channel to help men create their ideal lives through self-mastery. So if you're a guy who's out there looking to level up his life in any way, hit that subscribe button and bell icon. I put out new videos every single day to help you create your ideal life. Now let's get into the video. So the first thing you should be doing in your 20s is what I call planting seeds. This is when you start taking actions now that you'll see the benefits of in maybe a year, 2 years, maybe even longer than that. This could be a lifetime process. But what happens when you do this is, if you continue to do that compound work and have faith that in the future that seed you planted is going to grow into a giant tree, you'll be able to experience the benefits of life that so many men who do not have that discipline will never get to enjoy. For example, a big regret of my life, honestly, is in like 2017, 2018, I really started thinking about like, yo, I would be so awesome to run a YouTube channel, but I was kind of scared to do it, and so I never did it. And this is a big regret of mine, because honestly, back then it was even easier to grow on YouTube than it is now. And just think about if I'd been putting in that daily work over and over and over again from that point in time rather than now. Now, on one hand, you could look at that and say, like, I've gotten way better on camera now. I'm way more confident. I have way more experience now than I did back in 2017, 2018. I was a completely different guy. So it might not have worked. But on the other hand, you could also look at it and say, well, gee, if I just put in that work then and figured this all out, I might have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of subscribers at this point. It's all about that daily work. And when you're in your 20s, especially your early 20s, people don't expect you to have everything figured out. So you have this time where you can keep putting in those reps, and expect results to come in the future. Now, a few other big areas that's important to be planting seeds in are your investments, working out, hitting the gym, getting your body right. That's going to take some time. And just anything that involves stacking skills, perhaps that you can get a promotion, or you can just get the job you want when the time comes for that. The second thing is to start learning. Importantly, focus on learning a life philosophy of how to be successful. People who lack a coherent worldview tend to get thrown off course very easily, and they also seem to get in their way a lot of times. There's a lot of cognitive dissonance. You'll see them taking one action over here and then doing something that completely contradicts it on this end. So what you see is it's incredibly important to have a coherent understanding of how the world works and how to actually get ahead in life for whatever that looks like for you. People like Jordan Peterson, Steve Jobs, Arnold Schwarzenegger, LeBron James, and David Hawkins have been incredibly influential people in my life. And I'm sure that you have role models of your own as well. And the important thing to note here is this is not a hard thing to do. I'm not telling you you need to go read the entire canon of Greek philosophy or spend 6 months just burying your head into the books of every great philosopher of Western Europe in the 20th century or 19th century or whatever. I'm talking about finding people who have a life that you want to emulate in some way, shape, or form, or have information that can be valuable for your understanding of how the world works. Number 3 is gaining life experience. Now, I think a lot of guys find number 2 very easy, number 2 being learning, but number 3, they kind of shy away from gaining experience. Gaining life experience is basically a personal way of learning and figuring out who you are and what you're capable of in the world. Now, the thing guys don't like about this one is it requires you to put yourself out in the world and actually go do something, whereas learning can be just as easy as clicking on YouTube and watching a video like this, which you'll get some value out of. But the thing is, the real world and real world experience is far different than just learning something and getting theory. This is what they talk about with soldiers. goes. Like, you don't know what you're going to be like until you're in the line of fire. When you're simulating things and you're just doing practice and things like that, it's very easy to be focused, you're not under pressure, and make good decisions. But when you go out into the real world, you find out that things don't happen the way they happen when you're simulating things. Some great experiences to focus on are things like traveling, going on dates, going to social events, saying yes to opportunities that could get you moving in the right direction. So many people's natural response to things is to say no, or I gotta think about it. Just start emphatically saying yes unless you have a good reason right off the bat to say no. The fourth thing is to harden up. Listen, guys, life is not easy. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just is what it is. You know, when you're young, it's okay to go to your parents and tell them you've got this problem and you need them to solve it for you. But now you're a man and it's time to step up and become self-reliant. Become as independent as you possibly can be. Take as much responsibility for your life as you can. This is going to harden you up. And what happens when you harden up? When you confront life, when you confront challenges, when you get beat down but you keep standing back up, is you're going to start to build self-respect. Because you're going to look at yourself and be like, yo, I've been through something. So you deserve respect when you've done that. You don't actually really deserve respect if you shy away from challenges. Why would anyone respect you? But if you've actually stood up in the face of challenges, in the face of perhaps betrayals or getting cheated on or all kinds of things, business failures, whatever it is, and you stood up to that and you kept going, you deserve respect for that. And you will feel that internally within you when you've overcome those obstacles. Do not avoid the opportunities to harden yourself up because it is such a rewarding experience. And the fifth and final thing you should be doing in your 20s is not settling. Settling is the death of 99% of men. You see men who settle and you can just see the life has kind of been sucked out of them. They just lack that passion for life. And honestly, life's pretty tough. Like I said with Harden Up, life is kind of hard. So if you don't have that passion for life, if nothing's really inspiring you, that's just a tough place to be in. Like, why would you want to keep getting out of bed and going through the grind if you don't have anything that fires you up? But there's this perception that guys have that when they settle, they make their lives safer, but this couldn't be further from the truth. Some of the biggest areas that I see men tend to settle in are things like with women. They tend to wife up the first girl who shows them interest. And what happens to a lot of guys when they start wifing up a girl and they actually like married is they start taking their foot off the gas. They completely settle everywhere. They start letting the woman tell them what to do. They're just, it's time to unbutton the pants and watch Netflix all night kind of attitude. The other big place is maybe they got this big business dream or they got this career they want to pursue, but it gets too hard for them, and so they make excuses and they settle for a job they don't want to do. There's two main problems with this thing with settling. The first one is it shows a significant lack of confidence in your own ability to perhaps achieve all the things you truly want to achieve in life, whether that be with the perfect woman for you or the perfect job for you, the perfect body, the perfect lifestyle, whatever it is. And it also has this belief that I already touched on briefly, that in settling, you somehow make your life safer. You make yourself more secure, and that being safe, playing it safe, settling in life somehow keeps you from getting into trouble, and that there's a lot of risk in pursuing your dreams. But this is so wrong. There is just as much, if not more, risk of disaster happening when you settle than when you pursue your dreams. For example, you are risking unhappiness. You are risking the entire system collapsing. For example, like think about people who they settle for career corporate jobs because they're like, well, this is safe. I get this weekly paycheck or 2-week paycheck. Well, what happens if the company goes under? There's a recession, there's a war, all kinds of things happen, and you're dependent on somebody else because you wanted to play it safe. The other part of this is also maybe you're not making as much money as you need to be prepared for situations like that. So you're risking your unhappiness. You're risking this one life you have being completely unfulfilling, and it's not even safe because disasters happen. I don't care how big of a corporation it is that you're working for. Bad things happen. General Electric's on the verge of bankruptcy. So is Ford. All kinds of companies could just go out of business at any moment. So the settling thing comes with this perspective, this perception that there's other people can solve my problems better than I can solve them, and that somehow I'll be safe. But this is so not true. Remember this, guys. Those who don't settle, they're gonna go through the shitter for a little while, but here's the thing. On the other end, they're gonna get to accomplish everything they wanted to accomplish, and they're going to unleash their full potential as men and live the lives that all the men who settled dream of living. Now, guys, if you're ready to achieve your goals, become a high-value man on your purpose, just kicking ass in life, my Unleashing the Alpha coaching program has a couple spots left. I'm taking on one-on-one clients. If you want to learn about that program, you can click the link in the description box below to learn all about it, and you can book a call, and we'll find out if we're a good fit to work with each other. Also, guys, one of the big mistakes that men make in their 20s is chasing girls. So you'll definitely want to check out my video on stop chasing girls and what you should do instead. And guys, if you got something out of this video, give me a like so I can reach more guys through the algorithm. Hit the bell icon and subscribe button so you don't miss my new videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.